Hi, I'm Bob Voss, New Business Bob. Welcome to the New Business Bob Show. You know, when people are starting a business, especially for the first time, they have to go out and they select a best business entity for them. And you have a lot of choices. You have sole proprietorships, you have S Corps, you have LLCs, you have C Corps, you have partnerships, you have limited liability, limited partnerships. There's a whole ton of these things. But what's the best business entity? Well, as most people know, a lot of business entities that are starting right now are what are called LLCs, or limited liability companies. And what I want to do is in this video give you two reasons why LLCs are so popular right now. Okay, let's get over to the board. A lot of people are starting what are called sole proprietorships. In Minnesota, it's called a certificate of assumed name. Then there's a thing called an S corporation, and then there's a thing called an LLC, a limited liability company. In Minnesota, a sole proprietorship is a $50 one-time fee. An S Corp is $155 and an LLC is $155 as well. Each state, though, is different. For your individual state, one of the best places to go to find out about this stuff is the Secretary of State's office. In most states, the Secretary of State is responsible for this. So kind of what's the difference between these three? Because these three are really the main business entities that most people are starting right now. Well, your first consideration, do I want liability protection between my business and my personal life? If you are a sole proprietorship in the state of Minnesota or anywhere in the country, the government looks on you and your business as exactly the same thing. And you may become personally liable for something the business does of a catastrophic nature. In other words, your personal assets might be at risk with a sole proprietorship. In Minnesota, you pay another $105 and you become either an S or an LLC. In an S or an LLC, your personal and your business stuff are separated. It's not like this, they're separated. And if there's ever any lawsuits filing, they're going to come after the business assets, but they can't touch your personal assets. So your first consideration is, do you want to separate your business and personal stuff? If you do, which I kind of strongly recommend you do, then you're going to be one of these two, an S or a limited liability company. That's your first consideration. The second consideration, though, is how much paperwork's involved. How about the filings, all the things I have to do? Well, in reality, if you're a sole proprietorship or you're an LLC and you're one member, you fill out the same stuff. And here's what's interesting. For both this and this, you are not filing a separate tax return with the Internal Revenue Service. All of this is done on your personal income taxes for these two. You fill out what's called a Schedule C, profit or loss from business, and it goes on line 12 of your Form 1040. So whether you're a sole proprietorship or an LLC, that's all you do, which means there's less paperwork. In an S corporation, you may have to do more paperwork. In other words, you also have to file a separate return with the Internal Revenue Service, and it's called an 1120S. In addition, S corporations are required to have at least one real employee, usually the owner. So there's a lot of paperwork involved in that. So if you're worried about amount of paperwork, but you do want liability protection, what's the best business entity to be? It's right there, a limited liability company, and that's why a multitude of businesses, or most businesses that are starting today, are limited liability companies. But we're going to be talking a whole lot more about this business entity thing because tax law is always changing. And there may be some reasons why this may be the best business entity for you. So watch more of the videos on business entity. Thanks for watching this video, and thanks for watching the New Business Bob Show. And oh, by the way, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.
So Bob, how do you change, if you made a mistake, you went with sole proprietor, and now you want to be LLC or S Corp, how do you make those changes?
Well, you can either shut this one down completely and just start a new one with the same name, or I think it's in Minnesota, it's $65, you change from a sole proprietorship to a limited liability company. Both cases, it's really easy to do. Is that? Okay. Did you just get that? Yeah. Oh, okay. The best place to get learning for being a new business owner is the New Business Bob Show. Thanks for watching.